Good afternoon, all of you all. NSB is like a family, and when family members praise you so much, you become a little nervous. Because just last week, my wife was praising me. The very next day, she asked for gold jewelry. So I don't know what. So you tend to become a little nervous. Anyway, let me start off with a small incident which happened in the early days of my teaching career. I started off in Jain College many years back when I was assigned teaching of these first PUC and second PUC students, and there's a subject called business studies. Okay, and I used to teach a chapter called industry. In the second PUC there used to be a chapter called industry, and in industry there's a concept called gestation period. I don't know if you all have heard of it. Gestation period is the time taken from when the investment is made till you recover the investment, isn't it? So suppose you're investing today, are you going to get back the money tomorrow? Impossible, unless you're a politician or a gambler or something like that, isn't it? You're not going to get it, isn't it? You start off a textile business, it'll take at least 1 or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years to get back the money. So when I have to explain this concept, I have to make it interesting, isn't it? So how do I make the concept interesting? I have to teach them gestation period. I want to make the concept interesting. So I used to narrate a small incident which happened during my college days. I was in St. Joseph's College of Commerce, and we used to have a play which was called Caesar and the Donkey. What was it called? Caesar and the Donkey. I used to play the role of Caesar, and my friend used to play the role of a donkey. So this I'm explaining in class, okay? And I used to tell them, see here, I used to play the role of Caesar, my friend used to play the role of a donkey. We used to go on stage. We used to start off, the play. Act 1, Scene 1. The donkey used to come, my friend, and he used to say, Master, water, master. I used to look at him and say, patience, donkey, patience. Then again we used to go off stage. Act 1, Scene 2. Again the friend used to come. He used to say, Master, water, master. I used to say, patience, donkey, patience. Again Act 1, Scene 3. Same thing. He'll come and he'll say, Master, water, master. What will I say? Patience, donkey. It used to go on for 6-7 times, and somebody from the audience will get irritated and he'll get up and say, hey, what are you all doing next? I'll look at him and say, patience, donkey, patience. Okay. This was what I explained in class, and I used to tell them, see here, for gestation, whenever you're starting your business, you need patience, isn't it? There's a very famous saying in English which goes that even an overnight success takes 15 years, isn't it? So you need patience in your business, and I used to explain, the class used to feel happy and it used to go off. Now what happened around 2 years back was, I went to Majestic, and we were going in a electronic showroom, Girias, and we wanted to buy a new LCD TV. So me and my wife were there, and we were looking at the TVs. My wife was deciding which brand to buy. Somebody patted me at the back. Then I turned back and I saw, he told, sir, I'm Lalit, sir. You remember me? You used to teach me around 5-6 years back. I told, yeah, I remembered. He told, sir, I was in second PUC, ABMS, accounts, business, math, statistics. I used to say, yes. Sir, I have started my own textile shop in Chickpet. And I remember you used to teach us industry, a concept called gestation period, where you used to tell us all sorts of things, sir. Now I've started my own cotton textile shop. I just want to tell you one thing, sir. Sir, how interesting you made the class, sir. Now, whenever I see a donkey, I remember you, sir. Now, I didn't know whether that was an insult or a compliment, correct? But after that, I was just thinking, because Professor Murthy had asked me to speak to you all something about success, something about motivation, and I was just thinking. The very concept, patience, donkey, patience, the very concept for success in life is this very word, patience, donkey, patience. Because so many of us give up at a time when we don't have to give up, isn't it? Again, there's a very famous quotation. As time progresses, many of us become grown-ups, but most of us become given-ups, isn't it? We give up whatever we have to give up, isn't it? And I was wondering, is this true in life? And I saw a very famous study which was conducted by Arthur Blank Institute in USA, which identified the top quality required for a person to be a successful entrepreneur. And if there is one successful quality to become a qualitative entrepreneur or a great entrepreneur, it is this one quality: patience and perseverance. Just one quality. If one person develops the habit of being patient and perseverant despite all his problems, you can see that the problems vanish. And I was wondering, is it true? And there was this BBC, I've heard of BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. Now BBC had conducted a program called Insight on BBC Radio 4. And they had a program which was run to identify the men of the millennium from the year 1000 AD to 2000 AD. Who were the people who did extremely well? And most of the usual success suspects were there, Mahatma Gandhi, William Shakespeare, Prophet Muhammad. All of these people were there, but there was one entrepreneur in that entire list who had moved and shaken the entire millennium. And this was an entrepreneur from Asia. His name was Suchiro Honda. Have you heard of Honda? Now I was wondering, what is this, man? I mean, why have they taken Suchiro Honda of all the people? They could have taken so many other people. There was Kawasaki, there was Suzuki, there was our own Jamnalal Bajaj. Why have they identified the man of the millennium and there's only one entrepreneur, and that is Soichiro Honda? Why have they taken this person and they've not taken anybody else? So I wanted to do a little research and find out what is there in Suchiro Honda which is not there in any other entrepreneur. And I stumbled upon a very nicely written biography, not a biography as such, a part of a book on motivation which was called Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And in this he gives a brief life sketch of Suchiro Honda. And when you hear this incident of what Suchiro Honda went through in his life, you will definitely agree with me why BBC has chosen Suchiro Honda as the man of the millennium, as one of the most successful entrepreneurs. Now Suchiro Honda was the son of a very poor blacksmith in Japan. And at the age of around 28 or 30, he was tired of living a poor life just as a blacksmith, putting iron together, wielding things, etc. He decided, I wanted to do big things in life. And his ambition in life was, I have to be a supplier to one of the biggest car manufacturers in that time, in the 1930s, Toyota. Well, all have heard of Toyota. Toyota was very well established at that particular point of time. So he said, let me join an engineering college. So he left his blacksmithery, he took money from his father and he joined an engineering college. He studied for 1 year, 2 years. After 2 years, he felt that now I think so I've learnt enough of engineering, let me leave off this engineering course in half, because I think so I have the required knowledge to make some automobile parts for Toyota. So he came out of college, he left his college. In the small shed outside his house, he started manufacture. There's a component which is called piston rings. There's a piston, in the piston there are rings in an automobile, okay. He told, I'm going to supply piston rings to Toyota. So he sourced the aluminium, he started cutting it, he hired 1 or 2 workers. He prepared the first consignment of around 1,000 piston rings for Toyota. He went to the purchase manager and he told, sir, y'all are buying piston rings at 25 yen, I'm going to supply it to you for 20 yen, will you buy it from me? Purchase manager told, definitely will buy it from you, provided you get it checked by the quality manager. He went to the quality manager told, it will take at least 2 days for me to check up your piston rings, you come after 2 days. He went back after 2 days. After 2 days when he went, the quality manager looked at Toyota and that ring which he was holding in his hand, he threw it on the ground and he told, even a beggar will not take your rings. All your rings are absolute crap. One diameter is 2.2 centimeters, one is 2 centimeters. You want to put our automobile passengers to death or what? The way you made this. Poor Honda was absolutely dejected. He had wasted 1 year of his college life, he had left it, he had taken all the savings of his blacksmith father, invested it, completely gone. Went back after 2 days, this time the quality manager told him, yes, Mr. Honda, shake hands with me, you have done a good job, we will enroll you as one of the suppliers. So what Suchiro Honda started doing, he started supplying piston rings to them at a very small scale. But remember, he was running from a small shed. A shed which was covered by hay, which was covered by a very temporary structure. He wanted to build a concrete structure because rain was coming, storms were coming, everything was getting upset. But at that point of time, the government of Japan had banned the sale of concrete because they were preparing for the war. The Second World War was about to break out. In fact, it had just broken out, and they banned the sale of concrete. But did he give up? He devised his own plant of making concrete, where he mixed up lime and all the other components and made concrete in his own backyard and constructed a permanent structure for his factory. And he started supplying those piston rings to Toyota. He continuously supplied piston rings to Toyota, and he had a nice workforce of around 20, 30, life was going on well. But then suddenly something happened. When the World War broke out, in the middle of the World War, the Japanese government banned the sale of all metal and aluminium to small traders. They said every sale of metal and aluminium has to go to the government because they were making guns, they were making explosives. They did not want that material to go waste. Now what happened to Suchiro Honda? No raw materials. Without raw materials, can you run a factory? You can't run a factory. He had to dismiss nearly 15 of his workers. He had only 5 workers left. No raw material. 3 months, 4 months, he was waiting for raw material. Government lift the ban which I can make piston rings. But nothing happened. One day, he was listening to the radio. In those days, we didn't have the television. So he was listening to the radio. And in the radio, the Japanese newscaster was telling, the American bombers which are bombing Japan are doing something very serious. They're dropping the bombs, and after they're dropping the bombs, they're taking petrol cans and they're dropping the petrol cans in the place where the bombs are being dropped so that the fire spreads in that whole area. Suchiro Honda heard this news and he started jumping. Yeah, I got the solution to my answer. His mother and his wife and his father started, you're a madman. They're destroying people, they're selling, they're spreading fire, and you're telling that you've got a solution. How have you got a solution? He told, no, you didn't listen to one thing. They're dropping petrol cans. Those cans are made of aluminium. If I can get hold of those cans, I can use that as raw material for my factory. He put his life to mortal danger. He went to that place where they were throwing bombs. He collected the cans. People told, you're a madman. He told, no, I want to supply piston rings. I want my business to succeed. He went and he put his life to danger, started collecting cans from the war sites and using it for his raw. In fact, in his biography he writes, my best friend was the president of USA, Roosevelt, because he used to supply me raw material free of cost. Isn't it? That was the determination of that man. That was the determination. He took that and he started making, and he started charging a premium. He constructed 2 more floors to his entire building and he started supplying piston rings. But you know what happened? One day, the American bombers thought that his factory is a hiding place for Japanese soldiers and they bombed his entire factory. Everything gone. But he didn't give up. Whatever was left behind after the bombing, he constructed that back again. Again, after 1 month, it was bombed. Again, he constructed it again. In the next 3 months, there were 2 bombings. He survived both of them. He was out. 5 of his workers died, but he constructed. He kept going on. But after 6 months, something devastating happened. There was a very big earthquake in Japan and his entire factory was turned into rubble. It went under the ground. Now he couldn't do anything. There was no insurance because Japan had an earthquake, it's an earthquake prone area, and they hadn't provided for insurance for earthquake. His entire factory was gone. He was reduced to zero. He was completely left without anything. Only that land where his factory was there. He told, this is the most depressing period of my life because I have to live on my blacksmith father's earnings. His father used to earn. He says that I did not even have enough petrol to put in my car, the Toyota car which I had, to go and buy vegetables for my wife. And that's what made him think. He said, see here, because of the World War, the petrol prices have gone up so much. I can't put in petrol because they're so high, because it's becoming expensive. The only other mode of transport is cycles, correct? Now, if I'm using cycles, if you know that in Japan, it's a very hilly plain. It requires a lot of effort. So he was telling that it requires a lot of effort if I'm using a cycle. And it requires me to spend a lot of money if I'm using a car. Can there be a solution where I can combine both a cycle and a motor car? And he told, why not I put a motor engine on my cycle to make it a motorized cycle. It was not called a motorcycle at that particular point of time, it was called a motorized cycle. But now where does he get the money? His father had exhausted his savings, his mother had exhausted all the savings. You know what he did? He said, I will start my company. Joint stock company was just being formed there, and he told, I'm going to call my company Honda Incorporated. But where do I get the seed capital? Where do I get the money? He went across the length and breadth of Japan. He went across the length and breadth of Japan. He contacted nearly 25,000 people who are owners of cycle sheds, cycle part owners, cycles. And he went across them, meeting them, telling them, give me money, I will give you back the seed capital once my company starts off. I know this will be a success. Within 1 year, you will get back all your money. Out of 25,000 people, only 1,800 people gave him seed capital. How many? 1,000? That is not even 10%. That means out of every 10 houses he went, how many people rejected him? 9 people rejected him. But what happened? He took that 1,800 people's money and he set up a small plant where he started assembling the motors to the cycles. He started assembling the motors to the cycles. And he told, I'm going to call my brand, the first motorized cycle, Honda Lion. What are they going to be called? Honda Lion. He started making those 1,000, he made 1,000 Honda Lions, the motorized cycles. And he made a grand launch in the Japanese market by giving advertisements, etc. But do you know how many Honda Lions were sold in the first year? Those who have done a little bit of entrepreneurial studies will know this. How many were sold? You know, only 2. Only 2 Honda Lions were sold in the first year of its manufacturing. Just 2. And everybody who had given him money, those cycle shed owners, came to his house and ransacked his house. They took away all the furniture, they took away all the lights. They said, you're not going to repay our money, you cheated us. Give us back. Write us back the shares. Instead of the shares, we don't want the shares, we want back. They threw the shares and they took back the belongings from his house. After they had done that, Honda was left with nothing. His house also had got ransacked. What has been left? Nothing. He didn't have anything. Only 998 cycles were left. But see, one more thing. I told you persistence, patience, donkey patience. He went back to the customers and he asked them, why are you not buying this? This is fuel efficient. This is giving you the complete fuel efficiency. This is so good. And then you all don't want to buy it. It's nearly 1/10 the price of an automobile. Why aren't you buying it? See, this is the importance of customer feedback. So many lessons you can learn from this. And you know what the Japanese told him? Sir, the product is good. But we Japanese, you know, Japanese are very small built. Sir, when we sit on that Honda Lion, we look like as if we are mouses sitting on a lion. Rats sitting on a lion. The design is not good, sir. And he said, yes, that's the mistake I made. He personally went along with his attenders and he modified the entire bike. He made the engine smaller. He cut off all the unnecessary parts and he called it the Honda Super Cub. What did he call it? The Honda Cub is the smaller one of a... In the next 4 weeks, all his 998 cycles were, motorized cycles were sold, and Honda became one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the world. But look at the difficulties he faced. Right from rejection from Toyota, right from rejection from his own friends in his class, right from the rejection from the people, his office getting, his factory getting bombed 2 times, his factory getting flattened by an earthquake, he not having concrete. How many difficulties did he face? And I thought, wow, yes, BBC has absolutely made the right choice by making Suchiro Honda the man of the millennium, because this man could build something from nothing. And so many difficulties from 0 to 200,000 crores, which is the worth of Honda today. It is a man's amazing struggle, a man's domination over the part to feel that whatever may be the difficulty, whatever may be the problem, whatever may be the challenge, If I have the ability in me, I'm not going to come back, isn't it? Jesus Christ did not have troubles. They crucified him. But if you're born on this earth, the very fact that you're born on this earth is that there is a problem or a challenge, correct? I have a pen in my hand. Now let's say you go to develop your muscles. Will you take a pen and do dumbbells? Your muscles will develop? Nothing will happen. After 1 month, the pen also will fall off from your hand, but no muscles will develop. But if you have heavy dumbbells, what will happen? Your muscles will. The more the problems and the challenges and opportunities you have, these are like dumbbells of your life. You will get those dumbbells, you use those dumbbells and build up your opportunities in life, because that will strengthen you to face more problems in the future. If you're telling in your life, I have problems, you should be thankful that you have problems, because those problems will build you up for the future. And the only thing which you can do is, stick on. Just stay on for the fight. And when you stay on for the fight, things will change. I don't know if I've told this last time, but I'll repeat this, because I know this is very interesting. When I finished my BCom, my father passed away. Okay, and we had nothing in my house. Now I had to do my MCom. I wanted to become something. Means after BCom, I got in as a telephone operator in Shivananda Electronics. Shivananda Electronics, a defense equipment company. And I got in as a telephone operator. Nothing, just making telephone calls. Very cushy life. But I had this restlessness. I have to do something in life. I can't just live my life just for myself and making calls all my life, isn't it? I had this tremendous restlessness. I have to do something in my life. And I took up and I enrolled in your Mysore University for my MCom as a correspondence student. That time we did not have Karnataka State Open University or anything of that sort. It was only a regular Mysore University. I was making calls. I used to take a Walkman. You know, in those days we had a Walkman. Because I couldn't see, I used to have a Walkman. Those cassettes I used to get recorded from an NGO and listen to those cassettes if I did not get calls on the Shivananda Electronics, just to study for my exams for my MCom. Difficulty. Writing my exams is a difficulty because I needed a scribe. And we have very, very archaic rules for people who are blind. If you're a blind person, you cannot, in those days at least, now I think so, they might have relaxed it a little bit. You have to take a person to write your paper who is from a different stream and is less educated from you. So for me, when I'm writing my MCom exams, I have to take a student who's a BA or a BSc and who's a BA or a BSc or a PUC student. Now I have to take PUC students, they can't write. How do I explain accounts to them? I have to tell them left, right, put this arrow there, this, that. That itself was a big struggle. And leave alone that. If you tell them spellings, I used to tell them personal management, they used to write PRSONAL instead of PRSONNEL, correct? So it was such a big struggle writing that exam, preparing for it, fending for my family at that particular point of time. But I told it's okay, let me finish it. I completed my MCom, got the gold medal. First time in the history of Mysore University, we had a gold medalist who was a correspondence student. Great. Now after getting the gold medal, normal assumption is that if you have done your degree, and I've also cleared my UGC. I wrote my UGC exam at that particular point of time, UGC, NET and JRF. Okay, Junior Research Fellowship. I thought something will happen. Okay, I cleared that also. And I thought getting into any college will be a very easy thing. Aram say I'll get into any college. What else? What is there? Nothing. MCom gold medal means everybody should take me. Yes or no? So I went first college. They took my certificate, threw it on the left side. They told, sir, you're blind, sir. How will you teach? You can't write on the board. You can't do anything. Impossible. I told, okay. I'd read lot of motivational books. I told, okay, failure is the stepping stone to success. Okay. So when first failure, okay, I told, let me try another college. Doesn't matter. I went to second college. Second college also refused. Same grounds. I told, okay, I'm a good job, no? Telephone operator, okay. I'll try for 5 colleges. If 5 colleges refuse, then I'll stop trying for a lecturer's post. Third college refused, fourth college refused, fifth college also refused. Now what happens? I told, what should I do? I told, okay, let me extend. From 5, I'll make it 10. Usually you do that, no? So I told, let me make it 10 colleges. 6th college refused, 7th college refused. You go and ask any college in Bangalore, they know me because I came and asked for a job. Understand? Now they call me for guest lecture. Okay, but that's different. Okay, now what happened is So 6th college, 7th college, 8th college, I was totally disappointed, dejected. You know, when you lose many times, no, what happens is the greatest casualty is that your self-esteem and your self-confidence gets hit. You stop believing in yourself. 10th college also refused. Now I'm in a sweat. I told, should I continue? Okay, I told last 5 colleges, whatever happens, it will not be more than 15 colleges I'll apply for. 11th college, 12th college, 13th college, 15th college, my own college where I studied my BCom also refused. St. Joseph's, they told, no, you can't teach, you can't handle the students, how will you write on the board? Go. 15th college also refused, and at that time, luckily we had the convocation of Mysore University, because they hold the convocation after 5 or 6 months after the results. I went to Mysore to collect the gold medal. As I told you, I got the gold medal, and over there I met my professor called Professor M.K. Sridhar, who later on became my guide for my PhD, and now he is the director of Canara School of Management Studies and the director of placements there. He was a part of the CEO of Karnataka Knowledge Commission till last year. Okay, I met him there. He had come to collect his PhD degree, and he looked at me and he told, you're getting the gold medal but you're looking very dejected, man. I told, yes sir. He's also on a wheelchair, okay, he's orthopedically challenged. Okay, I told, yes sir, I've been trying for 6 months to get a job, nothing has happened. He told, meet me after you come back to Bangalore. He gave me his number. I rang him up. He told, I can suggest to you a few colleges. I can't guarantee you. Try RV college first. And then there is a new college which I'm not very sure of, but you can try there. It's called Jain College. Okay, I hadn't heard of it only. That time it had just started. Okay. I went to RV college, they also refused. Okay. 17th college. Now I am thinking in my mind, he's telling me to try for Jain College, but should I go or not? And I told my mother, it's no use, Mama, I'm not going to go. Because 16 times you refused, you know what? Your confidence is all gone. It's finished. I told Mom, I'm not going. It doesn't look, because anyway they're going to refuse me. What's the point? And at that time my mother told me something which changed my life. She told me, Rajdeep, people can take away the spark from your eyes. Never let them take away the spark from your heart. People can take away the spark from your eyes. Never let them take away the spark from your heart. And I said, yes ma, I'll go. I also started thinking, nobody has the right to defeat me. Might be their rejection for some reason of theirs. But my enthusiasm shouldn't go out for trying. 17th time, I met Mr. Chainraj Jain, who's now the chairman of the Jain Group of Institutions. He told me, okay, let me give you a try. And he gave me the job. Now, I want to ask you one thing. Had I given up at the 5th attempt, would I be speaking in front of you all? No. Had I given up at the 10th attempt, would I be speaking in front of you all? If I had given up at the 15th attempt, had I been speaking in front of you all? No. The only key is one thing, just hang on. Just hang on. What you think is the end is only a bend. Life and God will send you troubles never to tumble you, only to humble you. Put that in your head. Life will send you troubles only to humble you. They'll never send you troubles to tumble you. So, when you have a problem, you just understand that this is a learning lesson. This is just a learning lesson. Once that lesson is learned, you move on in life. And the most important thing is just stick on. You have, if any of you all are marathon runners, there is something called as an imaginary finish line. Have you heard of it? A marathon runner gets very tired after running around 5 to 10 kilometers. And he thinks he cannot move on any further. But those champions are those who tell, okay, let me try for another 2 minutes, let me hang on. And they keep running even though they're sweating, even though every part of their body is crying out, no, we can't run. When they run the next 2 minutes, they get so much energy that they can continue for the next 30 kilometers. Correct or no? That's an imaginary finish line. Haven't you seen? When you're just about to fall asleep, when you're studying, and you say, okay, I'll sleep off, gone. You tell, I'll just study for another half an hour. And you see, after that, you don't even have to sleep the whole night. That's an imaginary finish line. So just remember that the only key to success is one. Stick on long enough. If you stick on long enough, your life absolutely changes. Tendulkar is playing his 200th test match in the next 2 matches, right? You might not, I don't know if you'll have heard this, but how did Tendulkar start his test career? He started his test career in 1987 in Pakistan. Okay. Pakistan had four of the fastest bowlers in the world. Okay. Waqar Yunus, Wasim Akram, Imran Khan and Aqib Javed. Okay. And we had, these people went to the first tour which was being held in Pakistan after 10 years. Imran Khan as captain. First match, 14-year-old boy. First match, out for duck. Second match, out for 7. Second match, he played only one innings, he was out for duck. India was doing well, but Tendulkar was doing very badly. We saved the first 2 test matches. Third test also went draw, they didn't pick him up for the third test match. Fourth test match, one of the players fell sick and Tendulkar was taken in. First innings, 2. Second innings, India had to bat out the 5th day to save the match. The match is in Lahore. The pitch is absolutely green. You know when the pitch is green, covered with grass, the chance of you facing a swinging ball is very less. Girls, you might be a little confused, but it's okay. Just understand that. It's a difficult pitch, okay, green. In fact, Imran Khan had told all his groundsmen, if you cut the grass on the pitch, I will cut your neck. Okay. He told, no, we want to defeat India, we will defeat them. Okay, 4th test match, India, the last test match. India are tottering at 22 for 4. Ravi Shastri and Sidhu are batting. Ravi Shastri comes, first ball, it whizzes past him, he just moves out. Okay, Sidhu comes and tells him, wow man, well left. He told, no, I didn't see the ball only. The way the ball is going, it's going so fast. Next ball only, he bats, it hits his glove and he gets caught. He's telling bad luck, this, that. Sidhu's telling, no, it's good luck. You know Sidhu, no, funny fellow. He's shouting at Ravi Shastri, hey, good luck man, because I've got recently married, I don't know where the ball will hit me, whether it'll go back home or no. Okay, he's shouting. India 22 for 5. Who comes in? Sachin Tendulkar comes in. Navjot Sidhu thinks, okay, this fellow will go. Next after that, Kumble will get all out for 40 or 50. Let the match get over fast. Okay. 22 for 5. Tendulkar walks in. First ball, he gets completely beaten. Second ball is a bouncer by Waqar Yunus. He tries to hit it. It touches his bangs against his face. His nose is smashed. Absolutely smashed. Sidhu shouts, get the stretcher. I think so this boy is dead. He's on the ground. His nose is bleeding. Every part of his shirt is covered with blood. His nose has got smashed. We had a physiotherapist called Ali Irani in those days. Okay. Ali Irani comes on the pitch and his cures were worse than anything else. Okay. Only 2 cures Ali Irani had. Saridon, he used to put under the tongue of the player and he used to put ice. That's all. Only Saridon and ice. For that they used to pay him. Okay. He comes, he puts a Saridon under Tendulkar, he tells, come, we'll take a stretcher, he'll go back. You won't be able to survive this. It's paining, it's gone. He told, Sachin Tendulkar is trying to speak something, but he can't. Because his nose is smashed, he's trying to say something. He puts ice. Somehow, Sidhu is standing there, he stayed waiting. Well, let the stretcher come. What is this boy waiting? Tendulkar is shouting out to Ali Rani, "Main khelega, main khelega." He's got a very squeaky voice, no? Ali, main khelega. I will play. I will play. I will play. Sidhu told, when I heard this, something inside me snapped. I thought this young boy is willing to play for the country and I'm waiting to go back home for my honeymoon. I will also play. Tendulkar got a plaster on his nose, paining, terribly paining. His nose is completely smashed. 14-year-old boy batted the entire day with Sidhu. He got 57 not out. Sidhu got 97 not out. They saved the 4th test match. And when you ask Tendulkar, he said, the turning point of my career, the turning point of my career was when I made that decision to stay back over there, despite my nose bleeding, despite blood all over my body. I said, no, if I leave the match here, who will save India? I had that only dominant thought in my mind. And if he would have left that day, do you think he would have been picked for the next series? His average was 2.3 in the last 5 matches. He wouldn't have been picked. Nothing would have happened. But what did he do? He did only one thing. He stuck on. What he? Stuck on. So just remember this one message if I have to give you all. For you all to become better in life, there is only one thing. Just stick on to the fight. If you stick on to the fight, your life will change. I remember when I lost my eyesight, I was crying, and I'm going to end with this. I was crying, and my father put his hand on my shoulder and he said one thing, Rajdeep, don't keep your dreams in your eyes. They will wash away as tears. Keep them in your heart so that each heartbeat reminds you to achieve your dreams. I just want to tell you all the same thing. Don't keep your dreams in your eyes. They will wash away as tears. Keep them in your heart so that each heartbeat reminds you to accomplish those dreams. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajdeep sir. Your words have truly inspired us. I'm sure each one of us here have gained tremendously for a lifetime. Now I request Professor Raghavaiah to facilitate our chief guest.